And for those that don't know, uh, because I don't know how apparent it was, but the topic of today is support and positivity. And it's not so much about Aperon or GameFi, crypto gaming.
How you doing?
Um, Come again?
Hello, how you doing? I'm Shada-san.
Doing good. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. I've been listening. Good to have you, man. I think
Thank you.
everybody between us in Apron is excited to have you, and you bringing the sauce today. So we're ready for the sauce of the day. And
I always try to bring the sauce. I always do.
it's like, man, we got the rice, so don't worry about that. You need to bring the sauce today. So
I
just want to let everybody know that Hotsauce is an amazing guy, has a great story, great background, and this is one man that we all need. Even I myself, as a young dude, even getting cryptos and Web3, we all need to learn and we just say that experience is the best teacher, and I think Hotsauce is a sauce to bring us some experience today. So we're looking forward to that.
Thank you. Yeah. So actually, I just want to touch on this super briefly. I get asked this question frequently as to why my name is that. I do practically put hot sauce on everything. I ate a salad instead of yesterday with my steak, and instead of putting salad dressing on there, I just put some creamy jalapeno hot sauce on there. Because
Hey,
it's good.
that's a dangerous man right there. They say, hey man, I come from Africa. We love hot sauce.
There
No,
you
hey,
go. Yeah,
they
man.
say if you
I'm
eat
all
hot
about the
sauce, you're a dangerous
spices,
man.
the seasonings. You
That's
gotta
correct.
spice things up in life. We're gonna kick things off, all right, guys. So this is just a little snippet of my story and how I came to be in crypto. Welcome everybody, and thank you for joining me on my personal journey. This will be a bit more structured going forward, and we'll let this serve as an introduction to what I think is really necessary in the world right now. I was going to say crypto space, but it's so much bigger than that. From time to time, this will be in a voice channel for more interaction, but I just wanted to take today to really lay the foundation. So here goes. I hit a brick wall recently. What I never realized was that the brick wall was the same one that I'd been running into for decades. So let me back up a bit. My friend had tried for years to get me into crypto. He broke down blockchain and the driving technology better than anyone. He'd gone through the rise and fall of 2017, but he was a diehard believer and kept telling me that I was going to miss an amazing opportunity that I'd probably never get again. So my wife and I decided to start dabbling at the end of 2019, right before COVID became the pandemic, and literally a time when you couldn't lose in the market. I saw crypto as my possible way out from the 84-hour work weeks and 20 hours of commuting. I wanted to have a relationship with my family again. December 31st, 2019 was my last day working crazy overtime. I was beyond exhausted from waking up at 4 a.m. only to get home from work at 7 p.m. I quit being industrial electrician to work with an old classmate of mine whom I greatly respected. It also reduced my commute to 45 minutes each way, and going to a standard 40-hour work week afforded me the time needed to dive headlong into learning Web3. After spending months reading everything I could about crypto, market action, upcoming technologies, patterns, and anything else I could in this space, I found GameFi and I thought this is the way. I'd run many successful guilds in the past and consider myself an expert theory crafter and gamer. I tried a few games here and there, mostly from the sidelines to try and learn the ins and outs. I played My Crypto Heroes for a bit, but the rising value of ETH killed that game pretty quickly. I got into Upland when San Francisco was the only city available. I really wanted to find fresh games, though, that I believed had a future. I wasn't looking for something that already had a massive paywall or a diluted economy. I've always said that those that get there first have the best shot at greatness, which also equated to profits in this NFT ownership revolution. I still had much to learn. My wife supported me at every turn, and even though I was working regular hours, my crypto education was taking just as much time as I was still heavily neglecting my family. I became addicted to watching price fluctuations. I studied coin market cap and token metrics like I was going to be the one that cracked the code and saw through the matrix. April 2020, at the age of 38, I was fired for the first time in my life. I was exhausted and thoroughly demotivated. I was capable of running large crews of people with more experience than I had. I graduated at the top of my apprenticeship class, but my will to work each day had fallen through the floor. I'm quite ashamed of my performance, but another apology won't go any further than the last. I had been doing side work, as all construction workers do, and that carried me to the next job with a longer commute and being shuffled around to as many 5 locations as a day in a day. On June 14th, 2020, we were at a graduation party for my cousin, and we were late to show up. We spent the morning hiking in another state, and when we arrived, there was only one person missing from the party. My father-in-law still hadn't shown up. We called one of his neighbors to check on him, and they called back minutes later, and I can still remember my aunt bolting to her car saying, "He's dead. He's dead in his bed." He'd been shot in his sleep by a jealous ex-girlfriend at the age of 67. That moment changed everyone's lives. My father-in-law had spent his entire life as a plumber and pipe fitter, working the crazy hours that construction will put you through, causing you to beat your body up in ways that nature hadn't intended. I decided then and there I wasn't going to spend the rest of my life working insane hours to get so little in return. I became even more obsessed with finding a solution to allow me to stay at home as much as possible. My family needed me to be present, not just financial support. We were all reeling, stressed, anxious, and depressed. Early November 2020, I found Nine Chronicles. The team was fresh and promised a lot. I bought my way to the top for almost nothing and only spent a couple of weeks getting there. Mining was extremely lucrative considering it was one of the few single thread CPU mining projects around. I invested in a nice new rig and then two more using the profits from the rising market. Nine Chronicles Gold was slowly and steadily rising in value too, from a fraction of a cent to I think it peaked at about $6 during the IDO, which we were locked out of cashing out, or else I would have and had been a millionaire. But that's beyond the point. I was solely relying on crypto at this point, as I had just lost my second job, again, almost exactly the same time as I found Nine Chronicles. I could always go back to industrial electrical work, but I knew how toxic that would be for me. Fast forward 1 year later to September 2021, and this is a whole, story in itself. But I had my dream job thrown in my lap. I was starting a company to run a GameFi guild with a great salary, and all I had to do was what I love doing throughout the decades of gaming, which is build successful guilds and win tournaments. The dream evolved into something more and more amazing as the days went by, and the 18 to 20-hour workdays were every day. Maybe something in me just relishes working grueling hours, I don't know. Just a quick aside for those that don't know, working inside of the house can be very difficult with young children, dealing with the ongoing trial of my father-in-law's murder, which is still ongoing to this day, actually. The PTSD, the depression that can cause. My days were frantic to get work done, deal with distractions. My children became a frustration. The most frequent phrase that I heard was "Daddy's in a meeting." Vacations weren't enjoyable for anyone because I was still in meetings the entire time. As time went on, I was so exhausted I didn't even want to get out of bed. I was thoroughly burnt out, and this was supposed to be my dream job, but I had no motivation for anything whatsoever. I know a lot of people suffered greatly during the recent crash, and I sank with the ship as well. Our plans of building our dream house came crashing down with it as we were just shy of my benchmark to pull out, and I never did. Our dream of moving abroad for a few years sank with that too. But the reality is, I didn't hit my brick wall in life because of the crypto crash. My job afforded the lifestyle we're living, which is to say that we were living like kings, going and doing whatever we wanted, whenever we wanted, of course, as long as I could still work the entire time. My family had lost many of the principles we'd had for years, and even though I was making a better salary than any previous job, this crash, brutal as it may be, is just another temporary thing. I hit the brick wall one more time because I'd burnt myself out. I had a terrible family situation. I felt like shit. I couldn't sleep. I was mainlining coffee for absolutely no effect. I just didn't care about anything, and most importantly, I didn't care for myself. My depression and exhaustion caused me to withdraw from the online communities that thoroughly supported me, the people that still made me laugh from time to time, the people that taught me things I never would have figured out on my own. I sunk deeper into denial, deeper into feeling like I was swimming in an endless abyss. I never would have landed that amazing opportunity without these folks, and I didn't even want to get online to say hi to them. Being offline, though, I got to enjoy the laughter from my children and had positive moments. And week after week, I felt like I was getting better and ready to come back. But every time I came back, the feeling was always the same as before I hit the power button. I've been working a solid job since I was 14 years old, and I really just didn't care to be here anymore. I'm ADHD, I'm neurodivergent, and I'm an introvert. I can hyperfocus on one thing and obsessively learn everything about it. I will also walk into a room 3 times and still not come out with the object that I originally went in for. I suck in many social situations, whereas making friendships online comes naturally to me. I have issues setting boundaries and priorities. I feel vulnerable and awkward in public and have overcome embarrassment by mocking myself and doing goofy things as a defense mechanism so people won't take me too seriously. And while being on the spectrum used to be something that people labeled as deficient, the reality is that more and more of the population is riddled with these characteristics to the point where I'm beginning to feel like I am the norm. Maybe this was my midlife crisis, and maybe this is just a grand illusion, but multiple pieces all fell in place over the course of a week that will change my perspective forever. I'm not a licensed therapist, a nutritionist, or a guru. I really just care about people and have spent my life giving to others to ease their troubles. What I realized is that I never once gave to myself, and I never took care of myself. Enjoyment was temporary, excuses and denial were my go to. Maybe it was the book I read, or the life coach that I started seeing, or the dietary cleanse that my wife subscribed to. I believe it was a combination of well timed acts. But the ultimate reality was that at one point not too long ago, I decided to become the captain of my ship, to stop going with the flow and ending up wherever it took me. I decided that I matter, and that only when I matter can anything else matter. I made that choice. Maybe you're young or old. Maybe you've come from a stable, loving home and were taught self care. Maybe you've had a tougher life than I did and don't think I know anything. It doesn't matter. What matters is that every day, every moment, we have a choice. The options may not seem great, but we have a choice on how those options affect us. I realized I'd been living in my past for decades. I realized that I didn't have motivation for decades. I'd made excuses and took convenience and comfort. I let myself believe there were no choices. In the last month, I've lost over 20 pounds or 10 kilos for the non freedom unit folks. I exercise daily. I cut the crap out of my diet. I read for me. I schedule my day. I give my kids time, meaning I actively participate in them being children instead of being a parent that is just present. I sleep and dream again. I wake up refreshed and spring out of bed, and I love myself. I have a positive outlook on myself. I still have a long road ahead of me, but this one isn't finished, doesn't have a finish line, and I'm going to choose and enjoy the process. I'll be finished when I'm dead. For now, I want to live. I choose to live in the present. I choose to motivate myself, and I choose me. I don't believe I can change the world. I don't believe that anyone listening to this dude cast will have some magical epiphany and overcome the obstacles that have been in their path, or to realize that the chip on their shoulder they can just remove and leave it on the side of the road whenever they want to make that change. I do believe that I can change me. I do believe that someone listening to this dude cast will choose to change a habit or forgive themselves, a family member, or someone that inflicted pain upon them. I do believe that if I can help one person by listening to them, empathizing with them, and seeking solutions with them, then maybe when they choose to help themselves, someone else will notice and make a better choice. And one after another, we can collectively support each other, spread kindness and compassion, and begin choosing to face the negativity with a different mindset. I believe the world is collectively struggling right now. Just like how mushrooms can communicate over great distances through their mycelia, we have a collective consciousness that affects our day to day. There's more road rage, suicide, and crime than ever. We desperately need support. We desperately need to embrace anger with patience and respect, to embrace hurt with care and support. I chose Aperon to be my platform for this because of Frank. After years of research and diligence, after speaking to countless teams and protocols, some of which I have deep respect for, Frank was the one person where compassion and community reigned supreme. I have deep respect for Frank. And while metrics and money do matter, he is here because of his passion for gaming, his passion for creating a space where people may thrive that don't thrive elsewhere, where everybody matters. I'm not speaking ill of any other GameFly project or team. I'm just saying that the heart that beats within Aperon is pulsing with love, kindness, and respect. As this Dudecast progresses, I'm eager to share life experiences and the lessons I've gained from them. I'm eager to have you share yours. My DMs are always open, and though I may not get back to you immediately, I will respond to you. Too many people go through life not believing that there is someone out there that will understand or that wants to hear what they have to say, but we are everywhere. Love is everywhere. Voice and opportunity is everywhere, even during the greatest storms of our life. I didn't walk away from my dream job because that wasn't actually my dream job, but I did unlock secrets that will forever help me grow and become happier, healthier person. I never wanted to retire old and miserable. That is the American way. I am fortunate for the opportunities that I've had in my life, but we take so much for granted. We exist without embracing our existence and loving who we are. We believe we are taking care of ourselves when we aren't even participating in our own being. We are selfish for the wrong reasons, selfless when we should have taken care of ourselves. I don't claim to have all the answers, but for once in my life, I can answer myself with honesty, love, and respect. Each week, I would like to give out an assignment. You have the ultimate luxury of choosing to do it or not. You have the luxury of interpreting that assignment in any way you choose. And maybe my assignment will be irrelevant to you, but that is the luxury that we each possess in this life. This week's assignment sounds simple, but maybe extremely difficult. Forgive yourself for something in your past that you can't let go of. Remember that you are not the product of your past, but you are a constant evolution, and you decide each day how you will navigate through your life, whether you choose to take the helm or not. You have the power to choose who you are in this moment and every moment later, but you cannot change the past. Maybe you owe someone an apology, or maybe, even more importantly, you owe yourself an apology. And then move on and choose to be forgiven today. Forgiveness is strength. It is not approving or minimizing. It is the power to accept and move past. Again, I'm not a licensed therapist. I can't solve your problems, but I do hope that you realize you have that power. To be effective, I need to hear from you. I welcome criticism, questions, stories, problems, solutions, frustrations, and passions. DM me or ping me anytime. We're all on this journey together, no matter how alone we may feel. My friend that originally got me into crypto went through such severe mental hardship with this recent crash that he recently underwent shock treatment. And yes, they still do that. He isn't the same, but he says he's not suicidal anymore. Just last night, a member of one of the gaming communities I'm in reported that one of his friends just committed suicide due to the crash. My heart feels the pain. I've come to know loss, unfortunately, all too well. We have to support each other. We have to remind ourselves that the next day is an opportunity to reach another goal. If you don't set them, you won't reach them. If you set them beyond reason, you won't reach them. Nobody knows when the market will go up or down. But if you're living for the money, you're not really living at all. I can't tell you, dudes, how much I wish that I would hear the suicide rate is going down instead of up. You are not alone. And you are not a failure for having lost in the crash. You're not a failure for not meeting an expectation or a dollar benchmark. Today is the best day to realize that you are amazing and you are not alone and you never will be. I love you, dudes. Each day I'll be posting daily words of encouragement in the Saucy Fireside channel. I might miss a day too here and there, but that's only because I'm taking care of my own needs. I'd like to thank Frank for giving me the space to be vulnerable and to be real with you. I'd like to thank Asteristi for bringing Aperon to my attention. There are many people who I'd like to thank, and I will be doing that when the timing is appropriate. Mostly, I'd like to thank myself for waking up to all the beautiful and amazing people around me and for realizing that I matter too. Thank you.
Yes,
So,
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, yes, sir. That was a blessing message. I needed that.
it was short and sweet, but yeah.
That's what we needed, brother. That's what we needed, man. Thank you. Appreciate it, man. Even I myself, I needed that. So thank you, man. I hope everybody also enjoyed that one as I did. Those beautiful
Yeah,
words, man. Yeah, I think it's not easy for somebody to share their stories, but when the time is right, when the moment comes and the moment has passed and we have learned from it and you're able to share it, it's a beautiful moment. So thank you, man, for bringing
you're
that
very
sauce. You just a hot sauce in my
welcome.
heart right there.
I'm gonna keep bringing it every day, like I said, or
Please
try to
do,
every
please
day.
do. We'll be waiting on that every Monday.
It's that's been a journey. I can
John,
I can assure you guys that.
uh, thanks for that, man. I think it's great. And every point and event you mentioned is worthy of probably 30 to 1 hour, 30 minutes to 1 hour chats in itself. The solutions and the problems that you laid out for a lot of people, I think. Honestly, even I feel I'm too young to learn most of the truths you've just shared. But yeah, I think we should really expand on a lot of the points that you made, especially the stuff that you learned over time. And wow, I think we really need to. I think this will turn into something really great. This hot sauce Monday, but probably have to have to have to work on the getting people here and getting people to understand the gravity of the what the market is going to become, and more people will experience what you just talked about. I think we're just at the tip of the iceberg now, and there's a lot of the funds I talked to actually are very bearish on the current markets. But I think it's important that the community stays together, knowing there are people like you and experiences like you to share to teach everyone how to navigate these times. And I do agree these are just cycles, one of many to come, not just in crypto, but in many parts of everybody's lives. So it's good to remind the crowds of these, and I hope we can turn this into something really duty and positive. And honestly, I have to say, all the stuff that you shared with all the positivity that is behind it, the voice that you use was absolutely negative. Yeah, absolutely sounds so dreary. But I know you, so yeah. But yeah, the positivity tends to build every time you talk to someone and when we chat. But yeah, when you go into the full on rambling mode, sometimes it can sound super negative. The contrast is very it's very interesting. I just hope people don't get distracted or get or get any uh, uh, I don't know how to say this, but it's because you say it in such a nihilistic way that it makes people may find it really really weird. But what you're saying is actually the content of it is extremely positive. So yeah, I just want people to really chew on the events and sessions. I think even I will listen to the. I hope some one of you is in here. Well, in is not. I think one of them would have recorded this session, and if you want to share the notes that you wrote down for these, I think it would be great. I think there's enough notes. If it's a word, if it's one sentence of encouragement a day, this is enough notes for probably 2 months already. So, and
I
then we
have
can
a
turn
lot of
every.
stories.
I
All I'm
think
gonna
every
say
single
is
piece of
I have
note
a
can be
lot of
turned into a
stories.
podcast. Yeah, I love hearing stories, and that's yeah,
I told
that's
myself I was going to read a lot more slowly,
mm,
um, but again, the the typical AMAs that I do are very scientific, I guess, whereas this is me exposing myself, and I do have I am like the goofiest guy you'll ever meet in public, and everybody thinks I'm weird, and my wife tells me that I can't even dress myself. And then she asked me to dress the kids, which is really funny because they come out and she's like, "All right, go back into the room." Like, I don't even know why she asked me to do that in the first place. But
But I
but
actually meet
you
two kinds
know,
of goofy people in my life as well. You are one of them. And there are two kinds. There's one kind that's, well, actually, it can get a little deep, this one. uh, there are two kinds of people who are actually absolutely goofy and wild in the public. And one is the kind that actually that are the most selfless because they actually want other people to be happy. And more often than not, actually, in the Asian environments, you don't find a lot of them. And these people actually get ridiculed or become the jokes or something and they seem to make a fool of themselves for no reason. But actually, I like to make friends with these guys because most of them are actually not fools. They are just there because they care about what the environment and what others times or people are having. But on the
yeah,
other hand, there's also the other type that's actually trying to cover up their depression or their sadness with a public display of foolishness. I think you're a bit of both. But
yeah, that's
uh,
true. I mean, we have defense mechanisms set up so that we don't have to deal with certain situations, or it's just easier for us to pass things off. And
yeah,
like I was diagnosed as autistic, or Asperger's. There's kind of a fine line there. At the age of 38, so just last year, just a year ago. And it as soon as that happened, and as soon as I was reading up on it, I was like, wow, everything makes sense now. Like I feel a lot less lost. And I really don't like the term autistic because I think that there's a negative stigma to it. I think that people have this, but let's be real. There's a massive majority of the population that is spectrum or neurodivergent or has quirks or this or that. Like it's not we're not actually different. We're not actually the minority or this or that. We all have our own uniqueness, and unfortunately, there's a high suicide rate among the high school popular kids, the jocks, the people that uh, go out day in and day out like they have something to prove, and it's a defense mechanism for what they're feeling inside that they don't think anybody can relate to. And so it's not, what we see when we go out in public is not what is going on behind closed doors. And when I was a kid growing up, I can't remember like people used to leave their door open, and people used to have their blinds open constantly or their curtains open constantly. And now, and I don't know if this is just where I live in America, but I assume it's just about everywhere. We all have closed windows and closed blinds and closed doors, and we're all judging everybody and instead of just living for ourselves. And we really need to open ourselves back up and open the doors back up. We need to understand that people that are hurting others are hurt themselves, and they need healing for that pain. I Going back to my friend that went through shock therapy, I never I didn't know they still did that. And they had to stop because it was so drastically affecting his memory that he couldn't remember crypto. He couldn't remember his kids' names. And it was just amazing that they still do that to treat um, these symptoms, these illnesses, because we are so far removed from exposing ourselves and seeking help and being real with what is actually going on. We lose some money, and we want to make it up through a good trade, and we start emotional trading. And I can tell you guys, the worst thing that you can do in your life as far as crypto goes is emotional trading. Like, don't do things because you think you're going to beat the system this time. Like, you need to have a plan in life, and it's not just with crypto. It's not just setting, hey, I'm going to take profits, at these points or this or that. Like, you have to make a plan and you have to stick to it, and you also have to have a backup plan. Um, you can't you can't expect that your method is going to win. I swear, I spend hours a day looking at probably the top like 4,000 projects. I'm a numbers junkie. I can memorize numbers. I can tell you when what was what price and this and that. I would spend hours a day studying coin market cap and token metrics and other, CoinGecko and whatnot, and really feeling like, oh, I've finally figured out the pattern. I finally figured this or that out, but it's not really there. And the whole point of these patterns is to trick you and to make you thinking, oh, I'm going to beat it this time. Now, maybe you personally are good at trading and you have a better than 50% win rate, and that's great. Keep doing your thing. I'm not here to tell anybody what to do with their money or anything. But um, when it starts affecting your mental state and the way that you live and your principles and all of that, then it's not going correctly. Um, you should only risk what you can afford to lose. And unfortunately, a lot of people um, struggle week to week or month to month, and so we really can't risk anything. And so a lot of people are here looking at GameFi as a solution. This play to earn, play to extract, as I like to say, P2E is. Um, but but no business was ever set up, no successful, profitable business was ever set up from an extraction standpoint. Like, they're not just there to give you stuff. People give you stuff for free to hook you and to get you coming back for more. And I really think that like win to earn or play and earn are better terms that are less misleading than play to earn. Um, because there's a lot of people that don't have job options, that don't, I'm fortunate to live in America where I can walk down the street and have a job tomorrow. And not everybody is in those same shoes. So it's not right for me to speak for everybody and to say that this is the way for everybody. But you really have to look at why you're doing something and what you're doing it for and what you're trying to get out of it. And really need to ask yourself, is that realistic? Um, because I, I I don't like to speak ill of other protocols and stuff, but there are a couple very large games out there that have created such a standard for maybe scholars to earn a living. And then when that economy crashes, those scholars are actually in a worse position than they were, than when they joined. We put our expectations and our hopes on things that don't always pan out. And so, I think like going back to me, I always felt like, oh man, if I do this right, I can retire at 45. Or, oh, if I just learn this much, I've got it, and I don't need to go any further. I set goals that were comfortable, and that once I reached them, I didn't go out of my comfort zone. And it led to failure every single time because I stopped working. I stopped making more goals. I stopped pushing myself. And when you stop that, everything else stops with it. You have to keep your head in the game and it is demanding. I have 3 kids, 2 dogs, a cat, um, a very loving and supportive wife who has gone through this roller coaster ride with me. My day is busy from the time I get up to the time I go down. And if your day is not busy like that, then there's a lot more that you could be doing. I know a lot of people in America are content to work until they're 66 and they're diabetic or arthritic or um, whatever it is when they get to retirement. So instead of jumping into an RV and traveling around the country, they're going to doctor's visits and they're fretting about the upcoming bills because of inflation. And we set ourselves up for failure by not setting more goals. And again, there will be many stories and many anecdotes and my story um, in the Saucy Fireside channel, and I could touch on a good many of them, but we stop taking care of ourselves once we reach that comfort zone. We stop trying to break through and seek more, and we stop having that fulfilling life because and again, this is just me, but work fulfills me, and work doesn't have to be for a boss somewhere else. Work can be for my children. Um, work can be for my personal relationship with myself, or it can be anything. But life is work, and we have to keep at it, and we need to stop and relax. We need to hit our goals, and we need to appreciate that and reward ourselves. But living in your comfort zone and not going further, not becoming more is what causes us to land in this state of denial and state of excuses and oh, just one more donut won't be a big deal. And I'm not saying don't eat donuts. I freaking love donuts. But we really like we've as a society, we have forgotten how to take care of ourselves. We've we're so easy to honk the horn in a car or this or that, when the reality is that 45 extra seconds that it took us to get to work, or that red light that we hit, is not anyone's fault but yours. Your anger, your frustration for that is yours. You chose that. And I guess waking up to choices was was really the change that happened recently for me, because I realized that at every moment I get to choose whether I want to let something drag me down or whether I want somebody to lift me up. It's all a choice. Whether you choose to feel like you have failed and you'll never amount to anything because you lost money in this crypto crash just like everybody else did, um, that's a choice, and we need to choose to remember that we're all amazing. We all have support, and we're letting our choices cloud our mind and cloud our ability to see what is actually out there. Society is really beautiful, and there's a lot of loving and caring people out there. And I swear, if you were to go out and smile at somebody, they'll probably smile back. And that one act might make them smile to another person. It doesn't take much at all. There isn't much effort required in life to have a happy and fulfilling life. It just requires you to get up and to say, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to choose to keep going. And again, I have a very interesting life, a very interesting childhood. Maybe you had a better one than me, or maybe it was worse. I don't know. I don't know how to compare these things. But but I did realize that I'd been living with a chip on my shoulder forever. Um, and I pretty much can tell you when I threw my life away, and chose a much harder path than I had to. But I also appreciate all of those lessons along the way. And so right or wrong, pass or fail, those lessons make us better people. And and I chose to forgive myself for a lot that really needed to be forgiven. I really feel a lot of pain. A lot of people are taking um, this crash very drastically, and I know that the stories of suicide and whatnot are not going to stop. And that pains me a lot because these are beautiful people that had a lot of life to live for, and losing some money is not the end of the world. And a lot of people do struggle day to day, and I'm not trying to minimize that or anything, but you're you are in control of your ship, and you can choose to take the helm whenever. And so by making excuses, by saying that, well, I didn't have a choice in that, that's not entirely accurate. You do have choices, and you can forge your own path. So I just urge people, if you're feeling like you need help, like you need somebody to help you realize the choices that you have, or just somebody to listen to you, just somebody to, be there for you talking about how badly you screwed up, or the time that you wronged yourself or whatever. We are out there. Again, y'all can DM me anytime. I can't solve your problems, but maybe I can help you figure out a way to solve your own. um, I'm gonna quit ranting now and let Shadow or Labor talk for a second.
Man, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it, man.
Let me get back to reading general here. Yes, sometimes we do suck at holding ourselves accountable. Yeah, actually, so I'm reading the four agreements right now. I just started, but it was just talking about the victim mode, and and how easy it is for people to say "woe is me," and to look for pity, and to look for um, somebody to relate to them, and to enable them to be victims. Um, and again, I have to say that's just a choice, and sometimes it's really hard to agree with what I just said, and it's really hard to say, well, I didn't have a choice in that situation, but how you choose to move forward from that situation is your choice, and how you choose to deal with these. And again, sometimes things need to be brought to the public. I think we're so quick to lock things away in our little vault, and do our best to never let them be exposed. But the more that everybody sees that you're just a regular person with vulnerabilities like everybody else, the more we'll all be more comfortable at exposing that. And when we're all comfortable exposing how vulnerable we are, we're really going to shed a lot of this victim crap away, because you're just holding yourself back. That's all I have to say.
Hotsauce, quick question.
Yeah.
So, what would you say to somebody or anything that when things is down, things don't feel right, the market is down, everything seems down, even life, personal life. What would you say that's that one word? Sometimes it's not easy to remind ourselves, especially if you're alone and everything. So, what would you say to somebody or a word that you say that we should remind ourselves of that reminds you to get back up?
I think for me, it's first of all, tomorrow is another day. Second, what did I learn from that? If you didn't learn anything, then you're not really looking at it correctly, because every day we have these lessons, and it's not like, oh, I learned that on X and X day, the market went down. It's the fact that we get, like, if you have all your chips in a basket, you have all your money riding on this project. Um, you stopped looking for other projects. You stopped looking for other ways to make money. You stopped looking for other ways to take care of yourself. Um, and I hate to have money be the resounding issue. It is unfortunately the way that we buy food and gas and pay rent. So cash is king, but I the unemployment rate is terrible in my area, and so many people don't want to do anything. Um, like, people just don't put any effort into their jobs, and it's like, where did your sense of pride and accomplishment go? Where did you trying to be the best for you go? When you live to reach somebody else's expectation or benchmark, you're not living for yourself at all. Um, and I just have to say, like, sometimes it's a hard truth for to to say, like, hey, instead of feeling sorry for yourself, you need to get back up and get out there. And people don't always want to hear that. They want their victim mentality to be um uh, accepted, you know but it's
For real.
it's not about other people, it's about you. Like, if you need to do something to take care of yourself, if you need to say no to somebody because it's having a harmful effect on you, whether that be your spouse, your children, your boss, your coworkers, y- only you can stand up for yourself. Only you knows what's going on inside of yourself. So if you're not talking about it, if you're not being vulnerable and bringing it up, you're not going to move past it. I locked stuff in my vault forever. I didn't want to seem weak. I didn't want to seem like I couldn't handle things, or that I wasn't Superman. I wanted to be Superman. I can handle anything you throw at me at all times. But the reality is that I didn't handle anything very well. And uh, like, my my job, this past job that I had overwhelming me, was 100% on me. I let it get to that point. I didn't set the right boundaries. I didn't say, I'm only working this much time today, you know? And so I didn't take care of myself. And we all have to realize that having the courage to stand up for yourself is not a bad thing. And if anybody takes that away from you or tries to act like you are being selfish when you're just taking care of your own needs, then they're wrong. That's not you that's wrong. They're wrong. You have to take care of yourself. You have to put your needs first.
Yes,
So
sir.
don't don't let other people get you down. And if other people are getting you down, leave them and find other people that will bring you up, because there's a lot of good people out there. There's a lot of good people out there.
Real talk. Thank you for sharing your heart, man. Thank you for sharing a piece of your heart and a piece of your mind, man. That's
I
real
try
talk
to.
right there. Hey, we'll appreciate it too.
I have a lot of love for people, and I feel like there's a lot of other people just like me that really want the best for everybody. And that too, like, trying to do for others when you haven't done for yourself is no good. That's no good. Like, it's great to help other people, but if you're struggling, you need to focus on yourself, and you need to be like, what do I need to do? Like, I guarantee there's things that people can think of that they want to do that would fulfill them or make them happy, and they're not doing it because they're making excuses for whatever reason, because of how other people will think about it, whatever. Don't do that, you know? Take care of yourself. If you feel like you're at the end of your rope and there's nothing left to live for, come talk to somebody. You don't have to talk to me. Sometimes it helps to talk to people that you have no relation with because it's that anonymity creates comfort. And sometimes you need to go to somebody that's really close to you and you need to talk to them and you need to tell them how they've hurt you, and what needs to be done about it. Like I think a lot of people are getting all of this aggression and road rage and frustration because they're just not taking care of themselves and they're not talking to people about it. And people are really understanding, like I swear if you just take a moment, people will listen.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for the sus.
Absolutely.
Thank you for the sus.
But yeah, people, I will be here every Monday, same time, same place. Maybe we'll change it up a little bit to accommodate different time zones. You can look for my daily words of dude encouragement in the Saucy Wisdom um, channel. I think Saucy Fireside might have been a little more appropriate.
Hot sus. Hot sus.
A little
And
was.
nothing but the hot sus. I think after this we got Lord Keeper streaming us Fight Club. Yes,
Yes,
sir. Gonna be a night of motivation. Monday motivation. Double aim. Thank
that's
you.
right.
No, I'll stream the Admiral's speech first, and then I'll stream some Fight Club. Uh, yeah. Have you seen that Admiral's speech, Hot Sauce?
I believe so.
Yeah, that's a very famous one. Well, I like to circle back to it once in a while. Well, yeah. Well, I'm just typing up the announcements right now because
Absolutely. I
there's
say
the Gleam campaign is going on and Celestial Conjunction begins tomorrow. So I'll post this announcement right out, and then I'll get back here. I'm just here. I'll be in the channel. I just need to focus and get this done right now. So thank you, Hot
awesome.
Sauce, and thank you for sharing. And it's incredible, actually. I really want to expand on several points that you talked about. Well, we'll have a lot of time, I guess, and every Monday we can catch you here. And of course, don't be shy. You can always talk to me as well, John, whenever
Yeah,
you need, and everyone else.
there's a lot of
Always,
people out there that are there for other people. You know, don't
yeah,
don't feel like you're
um,
alone.
I'm never too busy. Hit me up. I'll always be. My DM is always open since the beginning.
And
Yeah.
just for anybody that was curious and me talking about how GameFi is the way, um, it really is for me. So, you'll see me all throughout this space. But I like playing games, so I can't wait till this game is playable. But
Oh,
I'm not gonna say when or anything like that, although I do
tomorrow.
want to know.
Uh,
Tomorrow.
next month it
Go
will be
clear
out
my
next month.
schedule.
I'll make sure.
Yeah.
I'll make sure you get to test the be amongst the first to test it in July.
Oh man, don't
Uh,
say that. Then
all right.
everybody's gonna want my passwords and stuff. They're gonna be like, "Hey, do you have access? Do you have access?"
Yeah. No, all planet holders will have access.
I'm
But
just gonna be honest, guys. I really I worked hard to be where I am in this space. Um, I spent 40 hours a week at a minimum, even while having full-time job and everything else. And me having beta access to this and talking to this team, it's not something that like one or two people get. Like you got to work for it, and you got to get there yourself. So um, you put in the work, and you will get rewarded. But take care of yourself along the way.
mhm, I think there's a lot in this space. and people may be disillusioned right now. But try to look beyond the hype and the speculation. The reason we chose this technology, we chose Web3 for Apron, is it's not because we believe in the hype or anything. We actually believe in, well, for us, we believe in NFT and player ownership, even more so than play and earn and play to earn. As always, I think earning is a great bonus and opportunity, but it's not something that we can solely focus on because every brand, every game has its cycles, and of course, with the support from the community and the gamers, we will create new cycles and new games. But what we fundamentally believe in when we chose blockchain, when we moved from a mobile game to a blockchain game, is that the technology here is real. The projects, a lot of them actually have a lot of lasting implications and influences in the future of globalization, human developments, and internet. So, what you studied here, what the time you guys all spent studying these projects, although speculation may be half of it, studying the charts, getting in and out, prisoner dilemma, and all these little tactics to earn yourself a little life experience, economic experience, and most of all, the people you meet in the space is actually even maybe even more valuable than the monetary value you can earn. But I guess
Yeah.
it will take time for you to realize some of that and to build these relationships. What relationships, online relationships and friendships can be very funny. They may seem so intense and you can get to know a gamer so well. But when a game, that's what I experienced before. It's during the game, during the guilds, during these seasons that we go on periodically or even daily or weekly, and you play like really like soldiers right next to you, and the comradeship, the partnership is great. It's even more so than my wife. Even my wife becomes jealous of the game as I get to play every day in these raids. But but
Don't
then
bring that up, please.
yeah, but then suddenly sometimes you just have to quit. And when you quit, there are many times these friendships that seem to last so well and so periodic and daily, such as if it talks to each other again.
Yeah.
It's sometimes it's a shame. That happens because I think online friendships can be very fickle. But friendship in general can be very fickle. Not just friendship, but,
Yeah.
but family relationships as well. Human relationships can be fickle. It's up to the individual to keep it up, to turn it into something else. And more often than not, people are actually more open in online chats than in real life. I have great online chats with a
Hmm.
lot of people, but
I
I turn silent when I meet them in person. Well, some other times I would just drink it until I open back up myself, but sometimes they're just, hopefully, according to Pulp Fiction, they're actually just moments of silence, not awkward silences, but sometimes you don't have to babble on and on with a good friend when you're truly comfortable around. But yeah, what I'm trying to get at is there are many things one can gain from crypto. Crypto evolves so fast and all the technologies and the people, but I think there are also a big handful of genuine people in the space that that is not just smart but also passionate and not here for the pure profits. And if you manage to reach to meet some of these people, always just try and stay in touch and learn a little from each and every one of them. And it's really both fortune and unfortunate, in my opinion, that John is here today because John is, as I said, one of the greatest talents I've met in the Web3 space, and Polemos shines through his mentality and his there are parts in leadership where a company or a community evolves. The direction can be set by a leader, but for example, in Apron, the direction is much of the development direction. Everything is set by my lawmaster, my Orange, because he knows the development pipeline and he knows what's achievable in the market. the against player mechanisms and everything that makes a good game and a game economy that lasts. And there's also the other side that's on the that makes it happen. Actually, I put myself more in this position sometimes that I am in the community, and and what shapes the community for the gaming guild for games such as a great guild such as Polamos is you got great leadership at the top, directing where it goes, but you have but the heart of the community, the voice of the community, and the heart really is John, in my opinion, because I've read that the people gather around the community, the warmth from the community and the pride as well from the community is all it's like a mini version of John or an expanded version of John into a community that gets projected and shines through each member. So it's great
Been
when you see
running.
these kinds of leaders. Yeah.
I've been running guilds for longer than some of you guys have been alive. Um, Honestly, not you, Frank, but I've always treated them like they were my family, and I can um, mention quite a few people that I haven't gamed with in a decade or more that I still talk to. These are some of the deepest relationships that I've made, and being a guild leader, if you don't treat it like it's your baby, if you don't treat everybody's success as your own success and collective progress as your own progress, then I kind of don't know why you're in that position. Maybe you just want some power or something like that. But yeah, I really, I really kind of made that my second job, my second love, and so some of these relationships that I've made with people over the years have drastically helped me, um, through many tough situations or laughed with me. They know my family, they know all of these different aspects, and I've met some of these people in real life, made trips to meet them, and there are so many that I have not. But a lot of these people, 10 years later, I could be like, "Hey, what's going on?" and it would be really fun to catch up. So I know a lot of people put emphasis on, you know, physical, social relationships in real life versus online. The two aren't very different to me because we're living real life right now. You're listening to me as you would listen to somebody in real life, and we're all living. So I don't know what the difference is there. The relationships that you make with people, whether they're online or wherever they are all the same, and they all matter. Um, you know, your relationship with yourself matters the most. I'm going to go back to the original point of the conversation today, but yeah, I love the NFT ownership revolution. If World of Warcraft, which I played for too many years, had that, and it would have been a completely different experience for me, and I'd maybe still be playing to this day. But when you work, when you invest your time into a game, and at any moment that game can be shut down, and you have nothing, then your work is kind of fruitless in that sense. I mean, I definitely got a lot of joy out of running guilds, and um, we had some like server first raid kills and this and that, and I was in a top 5 world guild for a bit.
Oh,
Um,
John, I met the Merit Gaming guys. I really
mm,
should connect you guys over there. Have you heard about them? Is it
Merit
Merit?
Circle?
No.
No.
MGG.
Oh, I was gonna say I know all
MMG.
about Merit
Method,
Circle.
Method, Method,
Okay.
Method Gaming Guild. Have you
Hmm.
heard?
I have not, but
These
I'll
guys are
have to
the
see what
Method
they're about.
Meta Guild.
Okay.
the Method Guild is one of the biggest World of Warcraft guilds out there. It says that
Okay.
several. Let me show you. This is the.
I'm old school,
Uh,
man. I quit gaming for years actually when I met my wife. Um I got hacked in
so-
WoW and I was so
holy
pissed
crap!
off because like all the bind on equips and all of the everything that was bound was gone when I got my account back. And and I'd been playing for about 7 years at that point. I had stuff from vanilla, stuff you could never get again. And it was so disheartening to me that I was just a number. And I remember when I told people, I think they gave me 1,000 gold um, and compensation, and people were like, "Wow, that's so much." And I
A
was like, "But
thousand
I
gold.
had, yeah, but I had like 10,000 or 13,000 when I got hacked, and I didn't have my, Tundra, war mount and all of that stuff. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
have, like, and it was just like I'm just a number. I'm just a customer to these people. Like I want to be a part of a community where I'm a person, where they actually care about who I am and want to figure something out. Like it wasn't I mean, yeah, I lost years of what I'd worked for, but that's like really what turned me on to NFTs was like, oh my gosh, I own this thing and I can do what I want with it. That's great. Like that is empowering the consumer and the customer. So I definitely believe in I believe that now that this trend has started, all of these big giants are going to have to fall in line at some point. They can't just ignore it forever because people are going to be like, "Look, man, I'm paying you a monthly subscription and I get nothing. And yeah, you can go on the black market and you know sell gold or do this or that. Um, but uh, but this is different times that we're living in, and I believe that the asset ownership revolution is so necessary because like to me running a guild was a job, and I didn't get paid for it. I got paid in success and tournament wins or raids down. I didn't get paid financially. I couldn't quit my day job to do it, but now I can, and I did. And that's amazing that at a time where and not to get too much into economics or anything like that, but we just literally opened up a ton more jobs for people to have and they could do that out of their own house or on the phone or wherever they're at. It's amazing. It's going to have massive economic ramifications. The Web3 space is so super bullish on the space. Yeah, the crash sucks. I can't tell you how much I lost. It's disturbing. Um, just
Man,
just being a fool. And it is what it is. It's not somebody else's fault or anything. And guess what? I'm gonna make that money back, and there's going to be another bull run, and we're all gonna have another blow off top peak, and we're all gonna miss it, and whatever. But hopefully, if you're here now when you're going through the craziness, hopefully this will give you a life lesson of like, hey, I need to take money out. I need to, when the getting's good, you need to take out because you haven't made a dollar if you haven't taken it out. And so all the people that are here right now, I have a lot of faith that they're going to do just fine because they're going to realize like, hey, I went through this crash before, and I may lose a bit in the next crash, but I'm also going to take some out along the way and take care of those things that I didn't take care of the first time around. Like it's don't get down on yourself for missing an opportunity. Nobody here timed the market perfectly. Not one person. And if you did, tell me your secrets. But it is what it is. Keep your chin up. Get back in the game. Keep fighting the good fight.
cool. Cool. About to just send the tweet. Send the green. And the announcements, which oh my god, it's in my office. Well, 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 well.
I'm gonna sign off in just a couple seconds, but
Mhm.
again, people, feel free to DM me, ping me, whatever. If you need help, ask for it. You know, there's a bunch of great people around us to help us out. So
Thank you,
again,
John.
thank you for giving me the space to lay it all out there. And each week you can look forward to some interesting stories. Some
Oh, I
other
would. I'll be here every week. And thank you for sharing, John. I
yeah.
think this is actually will become a core piece of our community, and I really hope more people can join and listen, and we can evolve even more.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
I love you.
John. Love you
Take care.
too. All right. Take it easy. All right. Some announcements as well. Let's see. Publishing this. What? From Egypt. Hmm. Are we go on to stream the Admiral's speech? I haven't grabbed that in a while. Well, we'll go to a fourth channel. All right. Let me go to the town square and stream that. Not sure if how many people can get it. Or maybe I'll go to events. Event VCR voice. Oh yeah, I'll go to Times Square. All right. If you want to listen to the Admiral's speech, that motivated me every now and then. Feel free to go to Times Square and watch with me. I'll just watch from the lake. I share it in general. And after that, I'm going to stream Fight Club. Actually, I'm not sure if I should do that because is it even legal to do that? But anyway, it does remind me to watch Fight Club. I really love that movie. And just listening to Jones talking about that made me really want to watch it again. You know, it was one of those movies that defined my high school's generation. That was the one year below us. There were these I was a senior back then, and they were juniors. So that's grade 12 and grade 11. So I was in Form 6, they were in Form 5. Those guys actually started their own fight club at school, which of course got found out by the teachers and absolutely got slammered. What? Okay. Trying to find it. Go. And click on it. All right. Loading. Oh, Obi-Wan. Okay, I'm going to go to Town Square to stream the Admiral speech. See you guys there. If you want to go, I'm going to close the stage.